All right.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first episode. It's not even an episode, it's actually an introduction. My name is Mr. Linzito, the number one motivator outside of the equator. And I ain't running the show alone. I'm with my brother, AK, Akani Mathebula. AK?
Hi, Lindsay, or Linzito, or many of your other names, Mr. Moshesh.
The aliases.
Also known as.
AKA.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for inviting me to be part of the journey that you decided to take. It's something that's like, I don't know how many months or years in the making that we just keep talking about that. This is what we want to try to do. These are the type of conversations we want to have. This is the type of impact we want to have. And like with everything else in life, you must just start. And we'll figure it out as we go.
As we go ahead, we'll learn and we'll make mistakes. And I think also we need to give shout out to Craig Karim from Car Productions. He's the reason we have all this equipment, and the equipment is flipping expensive. We obviously, for obvious reasons, won't mention the price. But if you look at the equipment that we have, it's literally the same equipment that you have in top-notch studios. So he was generous enough to donate the equipment to us. And we are literally going to stick to our agreement because we were gifted the equipment on the basis that we will tell our own stories. So the podcast is literally there to inform, educate, and to inspire. Mm-hmm. And as much as we have celebrity friends, we have celebrity families, they are in no way our target market. This is the people's podcast. We want stories from your hood. Drop us a WhatsApp, give us a call, tell us who you want us to feature. We want to put the people on who, under normal circumstances, would not get a platform. People who have knowledge that is sitting at home and no one is listening to them because no one is giving them the platform. So those are actually the people that we want, so that you can also learn from them. And
just in terms of shout outs, I guess we must thank Tumelo and his team here at Maplanking. So it's a very nice restaurant, very good food. We had some earlier. They are situated on 1344 Mulivatsi Street in Dobsonville. So if you don't know where that is, if you can just Google search Dobsonville Stadium and look for Mulivatsi Street. It's not very far. Shout out to them. Thank you for giving us this venue for us to shoot. And looking forward to the conversations.
Yeah, so I think that said, we'll do a Kamina Kawena. So you will interview me, ask me a few questions, because I'm sure you have people that have been following your journey that is obviously going to listen in, for those who are listening on Spotify and iTunes, and those who will be watching as viewers on YouTube and TikTok, wherever we're sharing our videos, so that they can understand us. And also from my side, people will get to know you who follow me, who didn't know you before. So I was over famous.
Let's hope so. Okay, I guess I'm a practical, logical steps type of person. What's your name? What's your real name? Because that's a question you're going to get asked a lot. Is that really your name? What's up with the Sutu hat? Where do you come from?
Gee, so many. Can we do this step by step? Okay, so at Home Affairs, my government VIN number says Lindsay Moshesh-van der Byl. So I'm a gentleman who has a unisex name and two surnames. So it's very confusing. If you get an email from me, I don't blame you for mistaking me for a female, because like I'm saying, it's a unisex name. It's a double barrel surname. You might think this is a lady that's married. It's a black lady that's married to a white guy. No, it's not. So Van der Byl is my maternal family surname, and Moshesh is my paternal family surname. So I'm a sixth descendant, royal from the Bakwena Bamokotedi clan. So that's the royal family of Lesotho. My great-great-great-grandfather is the fifth son of King Moshesh. He was known as George Tladi Moshesh. Was the first Basotho actually to write a letter. Was also the first Mosotho to travel and study overseas. So yeah, we'll touch on the history again. I'll call in some of the family members and we can chat to him as thing goes on. But just to speed up the process, there's a place in Matatia called Hatladi.
Yes.
So Hatladi is named after Tladi.
Yo.
So Tladi was banished from Lesotho, and once you cross the border from Lesotho, you are literally in the Eastern Cape, in the part of Matatiao, which is where our ancestral grounds are, and we are still the tribal leaders of that area. So that's why I need to ensure that I have my equipment as a royal.
No, your story is very intimidating, you know. It's like when you are at a wedding, you don't want to speak after a person who gave a very good speech, like you, and you also don't want to speak at the beginning because you have nothing to look at, like what
to purge from.
Yeah, you don't know. Can I steal that story and that part of that, whatever? Okay, so in terms of interests, what exactly keeps you ticking? What keeps you going? Are you a radio head? Are you what does Lindsay do?
So I would love to say I'm a person who loves helping people, who loves changing people's lives. But I must also admit at the same time that I'm in a space in my life where I'm trying to move away from that. And I want to move away from helping people, not because I don't like it.
Yeah.
I want to move away because for the last 10 years, I've given myself selflessly to helping, building libraries, feeding people. There's families that eat off me, and at times I would go hungry, and people don't know about it because I don't want to expose them. But those are some of the things that I do that people don't know about. People see the libraries, people see the cycling and so forth. And I think what that has done is it has taught me a lot, but personally it has kept me back because it meant that I had to put my goals on the back burner. My dreams had to be paused so that I can help other people achieve their dreams. So I'm now in a space where I'm saying, for my voice, there shall be an invoice. And like they say, ekasi, indota, emuva, imali pambili. So I'm trying to build up myself so that I can now fund my own goals and dreams, which have been on the back burner. So I think that's where it starts. And then other things that tick me off is, because I'm a person who don't drink, I love being active. I love walking. I can literally reject a lift and walk 10 kilometers because I think to me it's very therapeutic. Because I love, my brain is constantly thinking. I'm a person who battles with sleep. Cause my mind over things. I'm always thinking up ideas. I'm always thinking of how I can improve things and how I can do things differently. I'm a person who loves reading, but the last 10 years have been impacted by that because you hardly get any time to read because you're busy encouraging others to read. You are busy cycling and building libraries in areas where there's none. So that has impacted in my reading, but I'm hoping also as I focus on myself more this year, I'll have a little bit more time to get back into reading because I think there's nothing more powerful than a book.
Okay, so you're into cycling. What kind of cycling? Are you like a mountain bike person or those thin Lance Armstrong type of bikes? Or
So ironically, I started off on a mountain bike. Not because I wanted to, because that was the only option available. I rode mountain bike. I enjoyed mountain biking. But because I'm such an ambitious person and I always want to go faster, I always want to go further.
Yeah.
I started getting introduced to road bikes, which is what you call the Lance Armstrong
road bikes. That's what. Yeah, I see. I've learned something new.
Yeah,
road
so
bikes.
It's a road bike. But even in road bikes, there's a hierarchy. There's levels.
Levels.
Yeah, there's your normal ordinary steel, which is a very heavy bike. Then you get aluminium, which is slightly lighter. Then you get the last number, which is the carbon fiber. So luckily, I'm at carbon fiber level now. Yeah, no, there's levels to these things. Yeah, but that said, I'm enjoying carbon fiber because it's very expensive to maintain, but the joys that you get from it, just the joy of knowing that you can literally pedal at 40 kilometers an hour on a bicycle.
Yeah.
That to me is like, I always look
what's the furthest you've cycled?
I've done Pretoria to Cape Town.
Yeah.
3 times, and then I've done Soweto to Cape Town as well. So the 3 times I did it was basically calculated because I have a reading awareness campaign called Cycle for Change, where I cycle from Union Buildings in Pretoria all the way down to Parliament in Cape Town. And obviously because it's a campaign and you're raising awareness, you're engaging people, so there's normally stopovers along the. I think what we'll do is we'll put the link of the 2018 documentary so that people watching can actually see what it's all about. But yeah, I do that, and then 2022 I changed tact a bit because it was the first one after the lockdown, because a lot couldn't happen during lockdown. And then I did what was called the 100-hour cycle challenge. So I tried to go from Soweto to Cape Town CBD in under 100 hours, which is 4 days and 4 hours. But on the day we were supposed to leave was when the November 2022 flood started. So literally when it hit 12 o'clock and we left, I had a gentleman called Tao Pudding. When we left, it had stopped. The rain had stopped for a while. Yeah. But as we were leaving, the rain was literally following us, and it caught up with us in just before Welkom, about 3-4 kilometers before Welkom. And on our way to Virginia, it was raining. We stopped over in Virginia for some snacks, and then we realized this thing is not going to stop and it's going to eat into our time. So let's continue. And lucky I still had my mountain bike, so when we went I had 2 bikes. And going from Virginia to Tennessee, just before Tennessee, hit a pothole because visibility was bad to the extent where even the trucks were putting on hazards. And
so even bikes can hit potholes. It's a problem. Oh, okay.
You're on the road.
Yeah, but I thought just
how
just
do you
a small
see when it's flooding? I'm like literally the rain is hitting in your eyes, and obviously when it rains the road looks smooth, so you don't know where that pothole is. And I had to use the mountain bike up until Tennessee, and then we decided, you know what, let's wait for it to calm down, and that wait took about 7-8 hours out of our journey. And then even though it took the 7-8 hours out, the rain wasn't stopping. It just
precipitation.
It dissipated.
It dissipated.
Dissipated. Yes. My masters, my honors degrees. So it dissipated. It dissipated, and we decided, you know what? Let us just shoot through. We'll take a break in Bloem. But my best friend at the time drove through from Bloem to come pick up my bike. So that by the time the bike shops open up in Bloem, he'd be able to take it whilst we're riding me on a mountain bike. And when we get to Bloem, take the road bike again. Because to go with a mountain bike chasing time, you can go with a mountain bike, it's fine. But when you're chasing time, that bike becomes so heavy, it becomes a mission. So, that's the...
okay. You can tell you're very passionate about your bikes. What else are you passionate about? And the reading,
I'm passionate about talking. I literally, I can wrap my mouth I love learning.
Okay.
And that's why I think I might be 38. So I'll be 39 in August, but I'm still 38. So I might be 38 years old, but I think the knowledge that I have should put me on par with people in their late 50s. Because I do think I know a lot because of my curiosity and my and as a person who's very well traveled.
Okay, no, great stuff. Business-wise, that sort of thing.
Gee, like I said,
It's
I like things and things like me as well. So I currently my main operations, which and SARS is looking for me. I don't know because I keep opening up a business account and then money comes in kancane and then it doesn't come in again and then the bank closes the account and then I need to go again and pay CIPC and then I need to open up a bank account again. So I think for the last few months I've been getting small incomes and I decided I'm not going to open up a bank account because if this income stops, the bank is going to close the account again. And now SARS has sent me a letter. They're looking for me.
Good luck. It's not a nice space to be in.
I was warned. There is one enemy you don't want. So I'm gonna go see them. SARS, I know you're listening to this. I will definitely come visit your offices. I'm not running away. I don't have money yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
So I've got Linzito Inspires.
Yeah.
Which is what I use to do motivational speaking. I use it to coach youngsters, use it to mentor as well. And then I've started a sole proprietorship, which is called Linzito Branding and Imagery.
Yeah.
I deal with printing of T-shirts, embroidery of T-shirts, caps, anything that literally can be printed, I print from small quantities to very high quantities. Yeah, that's also one of the brands. This cap is waiting to be branded.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is before.
And this is after.
No, that is an after, yeah.
This is an after.
This is a before. And maybe on the next episode or in the next few episodes, there'll be an after of this cap. That's what I do. So print hoodies, screen print, DTF print, digital to film. What else do I do? Yes, I've actually, so in the process of moving from just being philanthropic to now trying to be a proper entrepreneur, I've changed. I had Cycle for Change social media pages. I've changed that to Linzito Rides.
Okay.
So now with Linzito Rides, it's just basically me documenting my riding. If I do a training ride and I record it, I'm going to post it there so that I can keep my personal pages, and I can keep everything that's got to do with cycling on a cycling page. Yeah. And then what else do I do? Jeez, I forget, but I do a lot, man. I think I'm slowly moving back to what I did before everything became formal.
Yeah.
I was what you call a deal maker. So you want something, someone else is selling something, I take that from him, I put my markup and I give you.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
interesting. Last question is more of a side thingy. Mm-hmm. So I see a couple of days ago on your Facebook, because I follow you on Facebook, you had a picture with DJ Sbu. What's the story there with you and Sbu? What's the history and whatever? Did he sort of egg you to start the podcast or not? Or what's the story with you and
So
Sbu?
so Sbu to me, so whether it's from my mother's side or my father's side, I'm the eldest. So I'm the big brother all over.
Okay.
But Sbu to me is a big brother that I love dearly and I have an immense amount of respect for. He's one of those guys that when I do something that's out of line, if he brings me in line, I won't even respond. I'll just do as he say. Because I know from the get-go, he has always had my best interest. He has always treated me with respect, even though he is a bigger brand, and he's always insisted other big brands respect me. Through DJ Sbu, I've got Billionaire a billionaire and millionaires calling me Grootman. And I'm still saying, Grootman, just give me one of your millions. You don't need to call me Grootman. But that's the level of the relationship that we have between him. So let me just briefly go into it. So during 2014, I was like super depressed, super depressed, to the extent where I was prepared to kill myself. I was literally prepared to end it all, because you know what, I had moved back to East London, back home to East London for a few months. Came back, stayed with a friend and his family. We had a business where it was called Ride to Slide. We had a business where we were doing car shows, spinning events, stuff like that. And the business wasn't going well. And my friend ended up kicking me out of this house. And I literally didn't know what to do. And being someone who's very ambitious, I'd like to call myself an extremist as well. So whatever I do, I want to do it extremely. That's why it's very important for me to be in good spaces, because
so you can do that good
extremely. Because if I get into a bad space, it's going to be very bad. And yeah, man, I just felt like such a failure. I just felt like, you know what, nothing is coming together. And mind you, you would probably know where it is because it's close to you. In I think it's Conradi and Ondekas? Ondekas Park, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I literally walked from there with all my bags on my back, and I walked from there up until Braamfontein. On the Mandela Bridge, where I decided, you know what? As a frequent traveler of the train, I know the times of the train. The train is coming now. When the train comes out of Park Station, I'm just going to stand on the top of Mandela Bridge and I'm going to jump down and I'm going to jump in front of the train. And I want to be so strategic. I want to make sure that there's no comeback. Because if I get injured, it's going to be very bad. So I want to die. I don't want to come back. And I sat on that bridge. So I sat there from about 20 to 8. I know the last Gado was 8 o'clock. So sometimes we would leave at 10 to 8. Sometimes we would leave like at 20 past 8. And I waited till about 20 to 9. The train never came on that day. And I got tired of waiting.
Yeah, thank God for inefficiency.
Hey, you see, there's...
Yeah, no, Metro Rail inefficiency saved a life.
Yeah, they saved a lot of things. So, yeah, and it also saved someone else from going to prison, because what could have happened, and I look back now, and I know a lot of people disagree with me, but it is my view, and it's a strong held belief that anyone who commits suicide is selfish. I don't care. I know a lot of mental health people are going to come for me, but I'm still saying it up till today. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it tomorrow. I'm going to say it going forward. Any person who decides to take the suicide route is selfish. Because if I look back now, had I succeeded in killing myself, what would have happened is I had my bags, all my clothes, and a laptop in my, not a laptop, sorry, an iPad in my bag. The only logical thing that would have happened is someone would have picked it up. And someone would have gone home with that laptop and those clothes. And someone could have gotten arrested for murder when they did absolutely nothing. So if I look back, you understand what I'm saying? They would have, it would say robbery,
yes, with
murder,
aggravated circumstances.
Someone would have gone to jail, you understand? So I look back at those things, and on that day I made a decision and said, you know what? Even if for whatever reason I decide I'm going to do wrong things, if there's one thing that I promised myself, the same way I promised myself when I said I'm no longer going to drink, one thing that I promised myself is that I'll never ever take my own life. Rather, I can go put myself where someone will take my life, but I will never take it myself. And that's one incident that made me start thinking different. And I think not long thereafter, I was listening to DJ Sbu's show. He was on Metro. I think it was called The Sound Revival. And he had this thing where during the show, during that segment of the show, he would always ask, people are doing great things with their life. What are you doing with yours? And it made me think. And I said, you know what? Because I'm always seeing on social media, this guy's going to schools and he's motivating the kids. And I'm like, I want to do that. Didn't have money. I walked from Orlando West to Auckland Park. And I got there, I think around about 20 past 5. But I know it was before his show ends. Then when I got there, I saw a long line of people by the window. All these people, so I'm like, what's happening here? No, we are waiting for Smoo. Because people wanted bursaries from him. And I decided, no man, it's still early. I'm not going to wait. Let me just go for a walk and come back. Because like I'm saying, that time, like I was having a lot of suicidal thoughts. When I came back, it was now 10 to 5 to. And he was now obviously getting ready to pack up and come out. Because obviously you can see through the windows at Metro FM. And when I left, I told this one guy, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And there were two beautiful girls there. And these girls were going for it. They're like, Akana yellow pond that's going to jump the line here. I've been here since forever. I went and I said, there was two people there in the front. It's like, Puti, you know I'm right behind you. There's no yellow pond that's going to jump the line. Because if they jump you, I'm going to jump them. Then I'm going to be in front of you. Look, when he came out there, I literally knew from attending business courses, entrepreneurship courses, that sometimes when you have time with someone who is in demand, you have limited time and you need to sell yourself. And I said to him, when he got out,
pitch, I think they call
said to him, Grootman, there's a lot of people here, all want your time. I know you need to leave. I just want to say two things. One, I love the work that you are doing. I want you to mentor me. And two, I'm willing to be a part of your foundation. And he directed me to someone else. And he said, go to that Grootman, give him your numbers. He will SMS you. We are doing a school in Soweto on Tuesday. This was the Saturday. So we're doing a school in Soweto. I'm like, good shot. I can even walk there. And I gave him the numbers. And I'm thinking to myself, so obviously, after a while, he starts moving, even though he's speaking to the people, and he's speaking to everyone. And I'm thinking, this one is an act. This guy is just playing. He's not that humble.
Yes.
Goes out. He literally spoke to each and every one that was there, because I stood there up until the last person left. And he asked me, even once he stopped speaking to everyone, he asked me, have you been sorted? Did you speak to the group? And I'm like, yeah, no, I did. He took my numbers. I'm like, okay, no, sure. Then I'm sure I'll see you on Tuesday. Then the Sunday, I got an SMS, which was a standard SMS to say we are going to be at George Table. Hashtag changing young lives. I'm like, okay, good shot. So from then, like, I mean, when I met him, so now some of the things that he'll tell you, if you were to ask him about me, he's like, hey, Mvana, I saw this colored guy coming with the chains and the earrings. And I was like, this one is just here for the girls. After 4 months, he won't be around. He's like, you know what, Mvana, like, even now, like, I still ask myself, I'm normally a very good judge of character, but I still ask myself, how could I have gotten it so wrong with this one?
Guy.
You understand? So, yeah, man, even the cycle for change. He was the one that actually helped me come up with the idea. He was the one that helped me get traction on the first ride, which was a solo ride. So I remember saying to him, you know what, I love this thing of speaking to the kids. How can I make money out of it? So he's like, look, I've heard your story of overcoming alcohol. That is a real and genuine story.
Yes.
It's something that you can use. But if you want to add, you can add more stories, which means that you're going to have to do something wow. And I was like, something wow. And I'm like, I've always loved sport. Then I was like, maybe I'm Shainyao from Joburg to Cape Town.
Yeah, it can work.
And that was the initial idea of Cycle for Change.
Oh, okay. You're going to walk that distance.
Yes, walk from Joburg to Cape Town.
Yeah. Okay, thank God for technology.
Like,
now,
what am I going to link the walk to? And I'm like, okay, I love reading. Because even for me to be able to speak English, it's because of reading. I grew up speaking Afrikaans and Xhosa because I grew up in the Eastern Cape.
Okay.
So I only learned to speak English in school because of reading.
Yeah.
And I know, even as a fat little kid playing rugby, the only thing, I was not as fast as others, but I was very strategic because I was reading books on how to sidestep, when to sidestep. I was reading coaching books in a library about rugby. So everything that I've done in my life has always been supplemented by research, which means reading on the topic. And I think that's when I said, okay, you know what? Let me ride or let me walk in aid of reading and encourage people to read. But obviously, as I'm reading myself and doing research on the route, I'm finding out there's 2 sections of the road. There is Parijs to Kroonstad, which is like 100 and something. Not Parijs, sorry, because from Parijs to Vredefort is 14. So from Vredefort to Kroonstad, there's about 110 kilometers of nothing, absolutely nothing on the road. From Richmond to Three Sisters, 105 kilometers of absolutely nothing. And now I'm saying to myself, the aim is not to get sick on the road and die. The aim is to get from Joburg to Pretoria. From Joburg to Cape Town at that point in time. Then I was like, no man, this one is risky. Why don't I do it maybe on a bike? Because on a bike it's still a mean feat, but at least I'm able to control. So if it rains, I can at least pedal myself away from
if someone suspicious comes along, you can increase your speed.
Mara, I'm not scared of nobody. So I would have been scared of the rain and the hail and the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But even then, once I decided, okay, you know what, I'll do it on bicycle. Then I was like, what links the 2 cities?
Yes.
I was like, no man, there's nothing that's linking Joburg to Cape Town. Then I'm like, okay, but it's Pretoria. Then I'm like, okay, what links Pretoria to Cape Town? It's
capital
2
cities.
Yeah. It's the administrative capital where the president sits, and Cape Town is the legislative capital where our laws get passed.
Yeah, all the bad ones. Yeah.
Now there's a link.
Okay.
It's 2 national key points. What am I dealing with? I'm trying to raise awareness on a national crisis, which is reading, which is literacy. Our literacy levels are putrid. So that's basically where the cycle for change concept came from. And all the way, how I managed to get media attention was because DJ Spoo was making reels and videos on social media, telling people to support me, posting every photo that I post, he would repost it, and people were asking, who's this guy that's cycling? And Spoo would just literally punt this thing on. He would call me on his radio show, he would call me and record it on WhatsApp calls and stuff like that. So he's someone that I can call on any time, even though he does allow me my freedom to go out and do my own things. But like I said in that post, one day with him is like 100 days in university, because you literally get so inspired and you just want to do more. He doesn't even need to tell you to do things, and there's certain things that he's taught me that I still hang on to today.
Yeah.
I know when to demand money for my efforts, and I know when not to, because it's something that they don't teach you in school. It's something that you need to be strategic.
Yes.
He's taught me how to collaborate with people. Just one before you ask your next question. There was some event, motivational event, where they brought guys from UK and they brought guys from America.
I remember that one, yeah.
And everyone had 1 hour space. But guess what Spoo did? Spoo went he went to get Linda Ntuli. He went and he got Pagamile Mzimela, may so rest in peace. And I can't remember who was the 4th person he got.
Yeah.
But Spoo literally took his 1 hour, broke it up into 15 minutes, and he said, gents, energy. I can guarantee you, the audience were falling asleep during most of the talks. But when Spoo's time came, because it was such a fast-paced thing, I'm like, oh, that's the power of collaboration.
Yeah.
Uguti, let us go forward together. Because he always says to me, it's not lonely at the top, provided you take enough people
with
up
you.
with you. But if you go alone, you'll definitely be lonely. So that's the relationship with myself and Spoo in a nutshell. And sometimes when he's bombarded with controversy, I normally don't react, because not that I don't want to, because I know him personally. I want to jump to his defense.
Yes.
But he's taught us not to. He has taught us how to take the negative energy and use it positively. So that's why you always see he never responds directly. Whenever there's a controversy that follows him, he's always pushing something else alongside it. And he'll tell you, I mean, he even said it in that masterclass.
Yeah.
He said, because I've made music, every time I train, for whatever reason, my streams go up. When it comes December, because I made December music, my streams go up. So every time they talk about me, whether it is...
It's a positive or negative.
Yeah, whether it's truth or it's lies, I don't care, because all I'm thinking now, my royalties are building, you understand? So
it's the Brenda Fassie thing. The more you talk about me, you make me famous.
The more, not only famous, the more you make me
you
rich.
Make him rich.
He says, even for the incident of the hugging trees, he's very well aware it made him trend, but it also made his music trend, because it brings his catalog back, you understand? So those are some of the things that he teaches us. So look, I've got massive love and massive respect for Groepman. So that solo ride, I wrote a book about it. He's the one that's doing my forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skrik for next. Someone somewhere decided to give you an alternative title to your book.
I'll put it there.
A little bit.
I'll put it as a slogan.
All right. Anything else that you think you haven't covered, or that people might who don't know you might want to know about you?
I speak 6 languages.
Ah, nice.
Obviously in South Africa, I am classified colored. But the colored tag, it's going to be one of our topics that we're going to discuss. Yeah. What is it being a colored? Yes, we'll discuss it. But in short, for me, basically, is I identify as colored when I don't want to explain myself. So if you ask me, what are you, and I don't have less to explain, and I'm colored. Because what identifying as colored does is, it tells you which background I come from. Because colored people in the country comes from a specific background. So it tells you that. But when I have time and I want to yap, I will tell you I am in Musutu. Yes. I will tell you that the concept of being a colored is a 1950 concept. So coloreds don't actually exist. The first people who were called colored didn't like the name. They despised it because they were called the brown people.
Yes.
Now,
Brain Mensa.
The Brain Mensa, yeah. So just something that is, it's a bit ironic as well, but it's also a weird observation. If you look at the word Basotho or Msotho, it means brown people.
Yes.
So Brain Mensa, Basotho. Well, at the end of the day, we are all Africans. Yes, we've had our divides and the tribal issues. It's just that the colonialists came in and they capitalized on that. We must never lie to ourselves and say that we were always united. We were never united. Before the white people came, we were divided by race. And we were divided by
tribal groupings,
by and
clans,
and within the clans as well. We were divided by violence.
Yes.
If your grouping was not a violent one, you were bullied. So it's something I don't want to go into it too deep. Not because it's controversial, but I think that
time and space.
Yeah, we will go into it into more details very, very soon.
Wow. Okay, that is amazing.
Anything else? Before I jump into you.
No. That's why that was my last question. To just say, in case I didn't cover something, you can't come back to me afterwards and say, "But you didn't ask me about this."
No, there'll be lots of space for us to put in other episodes as well. To put in. Oh yeah, and then also profession. As much as I'm an entrepreneur through and through, my professional background is in the financial industry, in the insurance industry. So I also got close to a decade experience
in versekering.
In versekering, korttermyn versekering.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've been questioned, I've been interrogated. Let me do the same.
Okay.
Akani Mathebula.
Yes.
Mr. Mathebula, I've known you from before we started speaking. I've known you to have written a lot of columns for your News 24. For Netwerk 24, and I've had the privilege and opportunity to interview you before, I know you're an author. I've known you also to come from the financial industry, in the banking sector.
Yeah.
But I think for me, my question would be one that we are obviously always going to ask our guests. Where did it begin, or where did it start for Akani? Who is Akani? Where did you grow up? What can you tell me about, what is your biggest highlight or memory of growing up? How has that propelled you through your schooling, through your professional career and your personal life, and to where you are now?
Yeah, okay. I'll start off by saying I have difficulty talking about myself. So, because we're in Dobsonville, I guess it's a bit easy to answer the question. I come from there, just behind us. In our background is Zone 10 Meadowlands. That's where I was born and raised in Dofaya. I grew up a little bit there. I grew up for some period of my life in Limpopo, where my mother comes from, in a village called Gandlanani outside Malamlele. So when people ask me, that's where I normally claim to come from, which is not really true. But
like many people in Soweto claim,
because it makes you like it's almost like you don't have like enough street cred if you say you come from Soweto. So I actually do just come from just here. Then primary school I was in Ennerdale. I lived in Ennerdale, and that's where I studied. So I guess that explains my funny accent, because people like, you speak funny. Yeah, I speak funny because of where I grew up. Went to university. High school, Langlaagte, university at the University of Joburg. In terms of highlights of growing up, I was always like those, top achiever type kids.
The nerdy ones.
Yeah, I was always the nerd. So that was my identity, right? Like that guy that read too much, knew too much about stuff, because I was just curious about like literally everything. So a lot of things that I've known in life was because I was just curious. I studied BSc in geology and geography, but I've never actually practiced as a geologist or anything. And I did my honors in geology. I tried to do a master's and I didn't quite finish. I was actually expelled from university.
So
that's a story.
It's still in progress.
Yeah, no, it's in progress there on the CV.
On the statement.
Yeah, so that's that. I grew up in the church. So my mother, even to this day, is a pastor and so on, and my stepdad. In terms of my biological father, is also just here in Meadowlands. So I'm one of those people who are lucky enough to have good relationships on both sides of the family. That type of thing.
2 fathers, 6 grandmothers, 6 grandfathers.
And I can't really answer the question properly of how many siblings do you have. Like actually, it's a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I studied geology, but then I didn't get a job in that. So I ended up in a bank. So I was an investment banker for 6.5 years until
How did that come about? Because you don't just walk into a bank. That one I'm not going to accept, because people are battling. Even people with sometimes banking qualifications don't get jobs. How do you, as a geologist, working nomhlaba,
how do I get? I'm a gold digger.
Digger. And now you are working with the results of the gold. Now you are into the money.
Yeah. So what happened was, because I wasn't getting a job, I just started like looking broadly. I was like, okay, let me try and find any job. So I was like literally CVs. Then I found out about the graduate programs at the banks. So I applied to all of them. I spoke to one bank and they were almost going to take me. Then there was the one bank that ended up taking me. And all that they wanted was that you had to have a honors degree in something that was analytical. You just had to solve problems. I'm like, okay, we solve problems.
So they wanted a maths and physics thing.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up getting in there. And I didn't know what was going on there, but I got in. I decided I'm gonna learn, because I'm driven. You asked the question, what drives you? I'm driven by curiosity. I just always want to know what's happening. How does this work? Where does this come from? What's the story? And so on.
What's the logic behind it?
Yeah, what's the logic behind it? Where does it come from? Because I was always, when I was in school, I was a history student. Like that was my thing. I was like into history, into English, language. So like in my matric, I was very proud of the fact that I did very well in English. I did very well in geography. I'm not so proud that I got an A in Afrikaans, because like completely useless.
Like many people on Twitter that says, I got 90% in Afrikaans, but if you ask me now, they won't bluff.
Yeah, they won't bluff. They cut meow. Yeah, it's all completely useless. Yeah, but yeah, like I'm saying, I grew up in the church. So I guess that's my biggest influence came from. That's why I learned to speak, publicly and do all of these sorts of things. And that, I guess, has had the most. So yeah, I do some charity work through my parents' charity, Open Hearts, Open Hands. So through that and through Pastor Chris Mathebula's foundation, they call People Matters. We've built a couple of houses for poor people, helping people renovate houses that had burnt down and all sorts of that type of thing. So that's me in a nutshell, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I obviously, and I'm asking a question from a point of privilege, knowing that, like myself as well, a lot of prominent people.
Yes.
And my prominent people I know because of my relationship with DJ Spoo, like I said. Would you say the people that you know is because of meeting them at during your time at the bank, or is it you meeting them through your entrepreneurial venture, or is it both?
So it's a mixture.
Or is it the curiosity? Because remember,
yes.
curiosity
so
also
it's
drives
a mixture.
people.
So for example, how I became known outside of my little circle, I once wrote something that trended, right? Some people might know it, they might not know who wrote it, but it was like, did you know that AFBOB stands for Afrikaanse Verenigde Begrafenisorganisatie Beperkt, and so on and so on. A lot of people read that and it just spread like wildfire. And then I had to now start like a separate page on my Facebook because I had like thousands of requests. And what I did was I just looked through who are the people I thought would have like the most impact and that sort of thing. Because I had people that I looked up to, like Abu Vianney Ngalwana, all these, major people.
Boys.
And then I would, just select those. Then I was also like on Twitter. So on Twitter, my handle is Akani Relo. So that came from, I had just had an accident and wrote off my car. And I felt like it was me reloaded now. I was coming back. Okay. So it was my second coming. So that's where Akani Relo comes from.
Back again.
So that was my resurrection, so to speak. And so on Twitter, because I was very opinionated about stuff, I had one very famous spat with Helen Ziller. And it was...
Coco Zill.
Yeah, then we were just going at it and whatever. And I to this day, I respect the fact that she's one person who, even if you don't agree with her or she doesn't agree with you, she'll never block you or anything.
Okay.
She will speak and argue till the end, and that sort of thing. So I guess a lot of people I came to know because of the writings that I used to do. So then that's how I got invited to write for News 24, and then I'd come on to like radio. I did lots of analysis and things on radio. So yeah, that's how I came to know those people, and I was always interested in business. So I just happened to know people who knew certain prominent business people,
and obviously,
and they would
as an investment banker,
yes.
you do obviously probably like at work functions,
at conferences and things. Yeah, and you go there and you're like, hey, I'm so and so, and what's the story, and that's essentially how I got to know all of these people, or to be known by them.
Yeah, and I'm probably jumping, but I'm asking my questions out of excitement because as much as I know a lot about you, some of the other smaller details I'm also getting to know now. Your current business or your main business is the manufacturing of the beds.
Yeah, so
and then you do a lot of other, like myself, and I'm sure you're probably going to forget some of the other ones. But how do you go from sitting in a bank, dealing with people's money, to literally opening up a business where you're making mattresses for them to go sleep and for them to go make new family members?
So it's a business that helps grow the community.
You are a multiplier.
I'm a community builder because my name Akani means to build. So we're trying to build the nation. So basically, how business started for me was I first got into property, buying property to rent out, because I've always been interested in property, right? Even to this day, I just drive around nice areas, just looking at these nice houses, book for viewings. I might be putting myself into trouble now because all the, what do they call these people?
The agents.
The agents might realize that I'm not actually going to buy these things. I'm just there to admire. Yeah. So I do property. I've been in construction as well, logistics, so in trucking and that sort of thing, helping people move things, and yeah, we make mattresses. That happened just by chance. Literally, it was a story where I have a colleague who actually got me into property. Lady called Melinda. She wanted me to go and buy mattresses for her because she was into student property. Yeah. So I went to the factory to pick up the mattresses, and I'm like, I looked at the prices and I looked at how much these things cost at the shops. I was like, oh, okay, there's an opportunity. I just buy, sell, and that's literally how.
You literally play.
So I became that guy that became known for selling mattresses, and then a few years down the line, a friend of mine, Colton Sako, he decided that he's going to fund us to buy an actual factory with all the machinery to make the mattresses, because that's what I'm passionate about. And I worked with him in other things like the logistics and the construction stuff. So it just became a natural fit, and that's how I ended up in that. Yeah. So
interesting.
When a gap opens up and you see, oh, okay, this can be done, and that's how I got into that business.
Interesting. And now the next question is a bit more personal. Is there a missus? Is there young ones? What type of family setup do you oversee?
Okay, so I have a grand total of 0 children, and
father of none.
Father of none. I always like doing this with my fingers because people are expecting like a big number. But no, I'm not married yet. I'm working on that one, and hopefully in the near future I'll be a proper Mr. who has a proper Mrs. Yes.
And
so I'm clearly not not available. Just in case that's what you were asking.
Single but not available.
Yeah, single but not available.
Okay. Yes. We will podcast from that wedding. We will be there. Man, and obviously because you're such a private person, as much as what you have said now might put you out there as an extrovert, you are actually, I think you epitomize the saying, a good dancer knows when to leave the floor. Yeah. So you will fight, and then boom, if it's off, it's off.
Then you just duck.
And also for me, there's a lot of people also that I could have gone to, and there's also a lot of people that was showing interest in wanting to team up with me. Mm-hmm. But I felt personally that you and myself, we are passionate about the same things from a different angle.
Yes.
And I mean, people can go on our social media now. We've also had our clashes, clashes of opinions. But if there's one thing that has always stuck with me, we have always respected each other.
Yeah.
Where you felt that the argument from the other side is a bit strong and convincing me, it would always be, okay, I'll come back to you. So that reading that we both love can continue. Let me go read up.
And I'll come back with facts.
I'll come back with
and
facts.
And not my feelings.
Yeah. Or if I come back, I will come apologize to you, or I'll come with counterfacts. So that is one of the reasons that I felt that I think the two of us complement each other.
Yeah.
And from myself, I'm a very in-your-face person.
Yeah.
Fight or flight, I fight. I don't pull back. And I don't think 2 fight people on the platform is going to be good. And I do feel that you, from your side, and I might be wrongly branding you, but I think in a fight or flight, I think you strike me as a person who would flight. Mm-hmm. So I think in that case, you are the calming person on the team, which I would need as well, especially when I'm getting very emotional. So yeah, that's another reason. And also, I'm more spiritual. I'm more into things of tradition, things of ancestors. And from your side, not that you are against it, you are more on the church side of it. So I do think that it makes a brilliant combination, because we're going to be having people from different denominations listening to us. So it should never feel like we are prioritizing one over the other. So I think from your side of it, where I'm being unfair to the religious side of things, you are there as a religious person yourself to bring me to order. Yeah, because I mean, and likewise the same from my side.
Because all my life I've had to, tread, because I'm a scientist by nature, right? Yeah. I'm always questioning things. I want the logic behind and whatever. And whereas also a person of faith. So these things in some people's minds are mutually exclusive. Yeah. But I find that it actually helps you to understand the other bit. And also just to understand, because I think I've been privileged in life to be exposed to people from all walks of life. And I literally mean all. Yeah. And I mean that from basically religion, whether it's race, thought patterns, levels of education, levels of wealth. I mean, I have in my on my phone book literal billionaires, right? And ordinary normal people. So having to walk these different paths and understand things also helps you to understand, like you're talking about fight and flight. Sometimes I understand that a person is fighting because they're passionate, they just don't have information. And if I come also as passionate, doesn't help them. Yeah. And then and that's the one thing that I think we literally can learn something from everyone. Even the people that you don't like. Yep. Even the people that you actually hate. They have lessons to teach you.
Cheers. I think, my last question to you, because like I'm saying, there's you're such a guarded person, and you protect yourself. I also don't want to have questions that expose what you don't want to be out in the public. So I think for me, my final question to you would be, as a person who is also in between the burbs and the Kasi.
Yes.
What is that one piece of advice that you would give the Kasi child in order for them to grow? Because I'm gonna clarify what I mean by grow. Yes. Because my concept of growing has also changed. I previously was of the view that if you are from the Kasi and you start making money, you need to stay in the Kasi and help others. It has changed. Yes. Because being someone who's become more spiritual as well, I understand energies as well. Yes. So you can be a positive person who is excelling. The more you excel, the more you put yourself on a pedestal where it's easier for you to get shot down. And that happens with all the time, yes. Yeah, we literally we can write books and movies about it.
Those people, yeah.
Yeah, so once you start excelling, you become a target. And if enough people target you, or enough people spiritually attack you, you might not always be able to defend that attack. So now, when I say grow, if growth means change environments, move to the suburbs, move to a farm where you are on your own, I rubber stamp that. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to clarify in terms of my question that asked, what is your advice for growth to the ordinary Kasi child?
So it's simple things actually. Number one, you must know that you are not where you come from. That's your history. You are also not your parents. So they have certain things that they want to do and whatever. But everyone is unique in what they bring to the world. And also what we just said now, that everyone can teach you something. So never go into any situation think, I'm nanyazi, whatever. You're going to limit yourself very quickly and close many doors. Because a lot of things that open and close doors is about attitude. If you don't have an attitude to want to learn, people can quickly see that and they will exclude you from things.
This one is
the truth of the matter,
problem.
yes. And the truth of the matter is power lies in few hands. And the people who are in positions of power need to feel that, you know what, I think if I empower this one, they can help do X, Y, and Z. But if you're just about yourself and your own little, then there's no, and never forget why you're doing things, right? Get into stuff and remember, hey, I promised my mother that I will achieve X, Y, and Z, or I will do this for our family and whatever. And if you never forget those things, you never lose yourself. Because there's value in yourself and in who you are, where you've come from and so on, and where you've come from as well. Because your identity also shapes where you're going, right? Because a lot of the things that I know and I've been exposed to, I wouldn't have known if I didn't grow up where I grew up. I didn't have the parents that I had. I didn't have the experiences that I had. It wasn't nothing special about me. It was my environment. And also back then to that environment to say the parts of the environment that you can control. If you know that, you know what, when I'm with so-and-so and so-and-so and whatever, my things don't move forward. Or they never encourage me to do what is right.
Or whenever I come up with an idea, they laugh and they think...
They laugh and I shoot it down. Well, actually, let me go to Lababa Ngono again. Siyoba Ngono together.
Together, yeah. Let me go to the Ngono team.
Let me go to the Ngono team. Hey, it's actually a good thing, Uba Ngono. Yes, go and get better.
It shows that you have a certain level that you hold yourself to. Yeah. Right. No.
That's that.
Yeah, I think from my side, I'm happy with the questions that I've asked. I'm not too sure if there's something that during this discussion that came up that you want to throw back to me.
No. I think you covered your bases very well.
So everything else that we haven't covered, we'll cover in episodes as
we go along.
Yeah, as you follow. So follow us on Spotify, follow us on iTunes, follow us on YouTube. It's the Linzito Podcast. On social media as well. You can get us at the Linzito Podcast on Instagram as well as on Facebook, same handle. From me, Mr. Linzito, the number one motivator outside of the equator. Sharp and away.
Cheers.
You must get a Tsonga outro.